Are you wasting hours cold calling people who never pick up? Feeling humiliated walking into businesses just to be rejected on the spot? If your SMMA strategy still relies on cold calls or knocking on doors, here's your wake-up call. You're burning time, energy, and slowly killing your agency. Business owners don't want to answer calls. They don't want to meet random marketers. They hate being sold to. And let's be honest, you don't want to do that either. It's 2024. Smart agencies aren't dialing phones. They're scaling with systems. Just a phone, a killer message sequence, and AI doing the heavy lifting. That's how real deals are made now. Fast, efficient, and frictionless. Want to land dozens of high-paying clients without ever picking up the phone? Let's dive into the step-by-step strategy that's changed the game for my agency, and will for yours too. Part 1. Common mindset mistakes when starting SMMA. The biggest mistake when starting SMMA is bringing in old thinking. To get clients, you must call them, visit them in person, sell yourself to strangers. This not only exhausts you, but also kills your confidence. When clients repeatedly reject you, you don't question the approach. You think, I'm not cut out for this. And right then, you fall into the trap of self-doubt. In reality, the problem isn't your ability. It's a broken system from the ground up. And if you don't realize that, you'll give up too early. There's a truth you must face. The market doesn't respond to effort. It responds to how you approach. You could spend 8 hours a day calling and no one listens. You could hand out flyers and no one cares. It's not because you're bad, but because the method is outdated. Today's market doesn't need you to interrupt. They need you at the right moment. SMMA doesn't need you to work more. It needs you to work smart. And to work smart, you must dare to throw away outdated formulas, no matter how praised they once were. The truth is, most who enter SMMA carry the psychological burden. I must convince others to buy my service. That belief breeds fear, and fear creates hesitation, making every message you send tremble with nervous energy. But if you understand correctly, you'll know you're not selling. You're opening a door to help. And helping never gets rejected. Once you believe this, you'll shift from being a seller to someone people want to listen to. SMMA is not a contest of who is more stubborn. It's a game of who is more agile. The person who makes 100 calls a day may not win. The one who sends the right 100 messages might. Don't think you must suffer to get results. In the digital age, results come from intelligence, not endurance. You need an optimized strategy, not a spreadsheet counting calls. Shift from manual to systematic, from knocking on every door to opening the right door. That's the difference. If you reach out to clients in a way that annoys them, you're not only burning opportunities, you're burning your own spirit. Nothing's worse than feeling like you're bothering people. That emotion kills your daily motivation. But when you change your method, right channel, right tone, right context, the client hunt becomes a fun game. You're no longer being rejected. You're just filtering, and filtering never hurts. You need to reset your core belief. Clients don't hate sellers. They only hate being sold to the wrong way. When you approach right, they see you as professional. When you address the right problem, they see you as valuable. When you keep your confidence, they see you as trustworthy. Don't begin SMMA from a place of inferiority. Don't think you're applying for a job. You're offering a solution. Stand tall, speak clearly, act like a pro. Because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. Part 2. Why old school outreach, cold calling door-to-door, is no longer effective. You're not living in 2005 anymore. Methods that used to work, cold calls, printed flyers, door-to-door visits, now belong in advertising history. These days, people don't open up to strangers barging into their space. A call in the middle of a meeting? Rejected instantly. A stranger walking in talking about Facebook ads? Instant suspicion. Today's market has changed. It's no longer who shouts the loudest wins. It's who speaks at the right time wins. Cold calling is an unsolicited form of communication, and anything deemed unsolicited triggers a defense reflex. Clients don't listen to understand, they listen to reject. They're not trying to collaborate, they're trying to get away from you as fast as possible. Some even get irritated just because you're trying to talk. So do you want to start a relationship with negative emotions? Or would you rather create a soft, pressure-free entry point where they actually want to listen. Knocking on businesses is physically and mentally draining. You must brace yourself for 99 rejections just to be heard once. And even if they listen, it doesn't mean they care. You're entering their private space without invitation. It's like selling door to door. Exhausting, discouraging, and ineffective. Meanwhile, with just one message, you can reach 100 people without sweating a drop. Today's world communicates in writing. Clients message, email, and chat. They read before they listen. They choose how to respond, when to reply, and what to say. Calling and knocking strips them of control, and that makes them shut down. Meanwhile, a message gives them a choice, reply or not. That's a respectful, civilized approach. And when you respect a client's autonomy, they begin to trust you more. From there, every conversation becomes exponentially easier. You could spend a full day making 100 calls, and only 2 to 3 people might listen. But in just 1 hour, you could send 500 messages and get 20 to 30 reads. Among those, maybe 5 will reply. These numbers don't lie. Performance doesn't lie. And if you're still hesitating between 2 paths, choose the more effective one. In SMMA, the winner isn't the one who insists. The winner is the one who adapts when the market shifts. Face it, cold calling and door-to-door aren't sales tools anymore. They're turn-offs if used at the wrong time. Modern clients want to feel in control, respected, and given choices. They don't want interruptions, pressure, or someone talking non-stop before they're ready. If you're clinging to old approaches, you're dragging yourself backward. In this game, the one who walks away from the wrong tactic is the one who moves furthest ahead. Part 3. Modern communication. Clients take the lead. You don't need to push. Today's clients don't need someone to sell to them. They need someone who makes them want to learn more. Initiative has shifted from the seller to the buyer. They choose what to read, how to respond, and when to talk. In the digital age, you can't shove a product into someone's hand. You can only place it where they'll see it and spark their curiosity. When you approach at the right time, with the right words, you hit their self-discovery trigger. And once the client takes initiative, you've already won 80%. Success in SMMA no longer comes from how many people you close, but from how many conversations you open. You're not the door knocker. You're the one designing doors that attract people to step through. Every message is an invitation. Every email is a chance to spark interest. You're not dragging people into your game. You're creating a game so good they want in. This isn't a weak strategy. It's the art of communication from someone who understands today's market. Modern communication is communication with choice, and choice starts with the recipient. When you call, you force a reaction. When you message, you give space to think. That permission creates a sense of safety. They don't have to react fast. They don't feel pressure. And when they choose to reply, they do it with a positive mindset. A voluntarily responsive client is always easier to convert than one dragged into a conversation. They come because they want to, not because they were pushed. That's the key. No one wants to have a conversation from a passive place, but everyone is open to talk when they feel it's their choice. That feeling of control is the strongest resistance killer in sales. When you send a message, you're handing the client the power to decide, and that makes them feel comfortable. Successful communication doesn't depend on what you say. It depends on how your message makes them feel. The way a client feels after reading your first message determines whether they'll give you a chance. Many still believe you must close fast, push hard, sell now. That's a mistake. Truly successful people are patient. They plant 1,000 seeds to get 10 conversations. From those 10, they turn 2 into loyal clients. You don't need a lot, just the right ones. When you accept that clients need time, you allow yourself to work more lightly. You no longer force, you simply persist, and smart persistence always creates powerful results. In short, you don't need to push anyone to buy your service. You just need to communicate like a normal person, understand how they think, and deliver value at the right time. Clients don't need a world-class salesperson. They want someone who's easy to talk to, who understands them, and who applies no pressure. And you can absolutely be that person. If you understand, success doesn't come from how hard you push, but from how well you invite. Invite at the right time. Invite the right people. Invite with sincerity. That's the secret of modern SMMA success. Part 4, the non-selling mindset, just sparking interest, an effective soft communication strategy. Successful people in SMMA don't sell in the traditional sense. They don't forcefully convince. They don't over-explain. They don't use fancy words. Instead, they ask, they spark, they ignite curiosity. That's the strategy of soft communication. No pressure, but still triggering a response. You don't need to say everything in the first message. You only need just enough for the client to think, this person gets me. This person is worth talking to. From there, they step forward on their own, not because they feel dragged in. One of the most effective openings is to ask a short, direct question relevant to their situation. For example, have you ever tried running ads for your clinic? This doesn't mention your service. It taps into their experience. That makes them think, not react. And thinking opens space for conversation. No need to say, I do marketing or I help increase revenue. Just ask, have you ever thought about this? The right question opens more doors than any sales pitch ever could. Soft communication doesn't mean being passive. It means refined proactiveness. You raise the issue in a way that makes clients feel they're in control of the conversation. You create space, not pressure. That gentleness creates professionalism. A true expert never talks too much. They know when to speak, how much to say, and what tone to use. In SMMA, if you make clients feel like the center of attention, you've already taken a huge step without needing complex sales techniques. Sparking interest also lies in your tone. You don't need to write too formally, nor overly casually. Keep the communication tone like talking to a work friend. No fluff, no hard selling, just sincere, brief, and clear. When clients sense authenticity, they open up. You don't need to show value, just show understanding and a real desire to help. The value will naturally come through how you speak, not through flashy self-promotion. Effective communication in SMMA isn't about being a great closer. It's about asking the right questions, sparking the right curiosity, and keeping the right rhythm. You don't have to overdo it. You just have to be real. Sparking isn't trapping the client. It's giving them a choice. When they choose to continue, you get your opportunity. When they step back, you still keep your professional image, and that respect will often bring them back later. Soft communication with a hard impact. Part 5, the power of choosing the right niche, dominating untouched markets. A common mistake for new SMMA agents is trying to serve every industry, every business size, every type of client. The result is, you stand out nowhere. The market doesn't reward generalists. It pays specialists who do one thing exceptionally well. When you choose a niche, a clear, underserved industry, you instantly gain a competitive edge. You don't need to shout louder than everyone. You just need to speak clearly to a small group that's been overlooked. And when you understand them better than anyone, they will come to you. A niche doesn't need to be unique. It just needs to be specific enough. I do marketing for small businesses is not a niche. I help yoga studios increase signups through Facebook ads. That's a niche. The more specific, the stronger the message. You'll write more relevant content, send more accurate messages, and create instant resonance. People will say, oh, this person is clearly talking to me. And that feeling makes them stop, read more carefully, and respond faster. You don't stand out because you're good. You stand out because you're relevant. A good niche often comes from where you're already familiar. The industry you used to work in, relatives you know, areas you've personally experienced. You don't need to choose a hot sector. Choose one you truly understand. When you've worked in that environment, you know how they speak, their fears, and their goals. You're not guessing insights. You see them from the inside, and that makes you unlike outsiders pretending to consult. You don't need to say much, because you say the right thing from the first sentence. The biggest advantage of choosing the right niche is the ability to replicate results. When you work with 3 clients in the same industry, you start having proven ad templates, tested messaging, and optimized workflows. You don't need to start over with every new client. You just tweak a little. That means every new client in the same niche becomes more profitable because you spend less time. This is how you build a scalable system, not relying on inspiration or luck. Choosing a niche also makes personal branding easier. When you're the marketing person for X industry, you naturally take the top spot in clients' minds within that industry. They don't need to compare you to others. You're the obvious choice. From there, you get more referrals, earn trust faster, and get accepted at higher fees. In a marketing world full of copycats, specialization is your golden ticket to the top. Not because you're loud, but because you're accurate. Choosing a niche doesn't limit you. It allows you to go deeper. You're not doing everything for everyone. You're doing one thing exceptionally well for one specific group. And when you do it long enough, you become one of them. Clients don't see you as a freelancer. They see you as a strategic partner. Every word you say, every proposal you make has depth. They don't reply out of politeness. They reply because they believe you can truly help. And that trust is the most valuable currency in SMMA. Part 6. Extracting your niche from personal experience. The foundation of brand building. You don't need to look far. The most suitable niche is often the one you've lived in, experienced, or observed daily. Have you ever visited a dental clinic? Do you have relatives who work in spas, as carpenters, or teachers? These familiar environments are gold mines. When you understand their industry from the inside, you don't need to guess their problems. You see them clearly. You don't need to start from scratch. You already have context. And context is the strongest competitive edge in SMMA because you speak the unspoken truths no one else has touched. Starting from personal experience makes brand building easier. You're not just someone doing marketing. You're someone who gets the industry. You can tell a real story. I once saw my dad, a carpenter, without clients simply because no one knew he did the work. That story makes clients feel you're real, feel you're close, and they trust that you're not just skilled technically, but that you understand them on a deeper level. In a world full of sales gimmicks, truth is what touches trust the fastest. When you choose a niche from personal experience, your content becomes sharper. You know what words they use, what they think, what they need during different seasons, what they worry about after the pandemic, and what they're busy with each quarter. You don't just run ads, you walk alongside their business strategy. And that's what makes you stand out. Those doing SMMA with a cookie-cutter approach will never reach this depth. They tweak campaigns. You refine strategy. They manage budgets. You understand cash flow. And that's why they choose you. Because you understand the industry, you also know how to respond appropriately. You don't say, ads bring in clients immediately. You say, in your field, it usually takes 7 to 10 days for trust to build and appointments to start. That sentence doesn't devalue you. It makes you more professional. Clients appreciate honesty, especially when it comes from someone who knows how their operations run. They see that you don't sell dreams, don't play tricks. You do real work. And in business, the real always wins in the long run. Personal experience not only helps you choose a niche, it helps you dominate it with empathy and insight. You don't need a big brand. You don't need fancy techniques. You just need to deeply understand the industry you're serving. When you're the first in a specific niche to bring an effective solution, you automatically become the leader. And clients don't need a reason to choose a leader. They choose you because it's the obvious choice. Start where you've already walked. Part 7. Finding clients for free with Google, an effective manual approach. You don't need to pay to get quality client lists. Google is a free data mining tool that most people overlook. Just type in the industry keywords you want to target, such as portrait photography studio, yoga center, or dental clinic, and results appear instantly with websites, addresses, phone numbers, and reviews. Every name on that list is a real, active potential client with real needs, just waiting for the right approach. When visiting the websites of these businesses, you'll unlock a trove of valuable data. They often publicly list emails, phone numbers, social media links, and even contact forms. Especially for small businesses, many use personal numbers as hotlines, allowing you to message directly instead of going through automated systems. A friendly message with the right tone sent to the right personal channel can break through the silence barrier that hundreds of others couldn't. Google Maps is another powerful supporting tool. When you filter businesses by geographic area, you can build a cluster-based outreach strategy. This helps you personalize content, and increase response rates. For example, you can say you're supporting businesses in the same neighborhood to optimize ads. That makes clients feel like part of a community, prioritized in a campaign. This suggestion opens them up more easily than generic, emotionless sales pitches. Not every business on Google is already leveraging digital power. Some have websites but no social media. Some have fan pages but have never run ads. These are ideal leads, already online but not yet optimized. That's unclaimed territory. You don't need to teach them about the internet. You just need to help them use it right. These clients are easier to convince because they're already ready to act. They just lack a trustworthy guide. The strategy of finding clients for free through Google demands hard work, but in return, gives you a highly accurate and truly relevant lead base. You don't depend on software, don't get duplicate lists, and don't waste budget buying cold data. Every name, number, and email you gather is something you found, understood, and reached out to yourself. That gives you control over interaction quality, increases reply rates, and turns client hunting into a proactive process, not a game of luck. Part 8, the 3 golden outreach channels: DM, email, IMESSAGE, and how to use them. 3 outreach channels that significantly improve SMMA performance are DM, direct messaging, email, and iMessage. No calls needed, no video calls, no meetings. Just these 3, and you can reach thousands of potential clients each month while keeping your communication personal. Modern clients prefer communication they control. They want to read first, consider, then reply. That's why these 3 channels are not just suitable. They're essential if you want to go far. DM is the first door opened through social media. On Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, you can message business owners or representatives directly. What makes DM effective is the intimacy it conveys. When a message comes from a personal account, clients don't see you as a salesperson. They see you as a real person. Start with a specific observation. I saw your page has great engagement, but I haven't seen any ads. Have you ever tried running them? That line opens the conversation naturally. Email is a more professional, in-depth channel. It lets you clearly present ideas, strategies, and introduce yourself more formally than a DM. When writing emails, avoid rambling. The subject must be attractive, the content must be easy to read, and the call to action must be clear. For example, "Hi, I'm helping a few businesses in your industry improve customer flow through Facebook ads. I have a few suggestions for your team. Would you like to see them?" It's short, focused, and gives them a good reason to respond. iMessage is a secret weapon few use. When you enter a client's number and see the bubble turn blue, you know they use iPhone. You can send a concise, polite, highly personalized message. "I saw your number on the website. I do Facebook ads for your industry. Have you ever tried them before?" iMessage has an almost perfect open rate. And because it's a channel used for friends and family, if your tone is right, clients will see you as an invitation, not a sales pitch. The power of these 3 channels lies in their ability to reach large numbers while staying personal. You can create a base message, then swap out names, industries, or locations to personalize it. For example, "Hi name, I noticed your business and industry is doing quite well. I have some ideas that could increase your online traffic. Would you be open to chatting?" When done right, such messages feel like, "This person really knows me." That's why they get responses. Using these channels effectively depends not only on what you say, but when you say it. Don't send messages at midnight. Don't message during peak work hours. Choose times when clients are likely to check their phones, before 9 a.m., at noon, or early evening. Also, double check before sending. The right name, the right industry, the right details. One small mistake can cost a big opportunity. You're talking to real humans, not data. So act with care, precision, and sincerity. Combining all 3 channels creates a flexible outreach ecosystem. If you don't get a reply via DM, try email. If email is silent, try iMessage. Each channel supports the others, giving you more chances to connect without becoming annoying. This is a low-cost yet incredibly effective strategy if done consistently. You don't need complicated automation tools. You just need a clear strategy, the right message, and consistency. Clients will remember you if you show up right and show up enough. Part 9. How to write personalized messages for thousands without sounding generic. Writing messages to thousands of clients while still sounding personal is a true art. Many people make the mistake of using one cookie-cutter script and sending it to everyone. The result, no one replies. Because clients don't want to read something that feels copy-paste. They want to feel like you're speaking directly to them, that you understand their industry and context. To create that feeling, you don't need to write from scratch 1,000 times. You just need the right, flexible structure that's easy to personalize. The most effective structure includes 3 parts. 1, a specific observation. 2, a value suggestion. 3, an open-ended question. For example, I saw your fan page has great content, but I noticed there aren't regular ads. If you increase your presence, you might attract more steady clients. Have you ever tried that? In just 3 lines, you show observation, insight, and no pressure. A message doesn't need to be long, it just needs to be accurate. And when it's accurate, even short messages outperform flowery pitches. To personalize quickly, you should prepare reusable content blocks. 1 intro line that varies by industry, 1 core suggestion, 1 closing line that changes based on location, timing, or context. For example, hi name, I'm currently supporting some industry businesses and optimizing their ads this season. This line can be reused many times, just swap a few words. Block building helps you save time while still making each recipient feel the message was crafted just for them. Emotion in your message is also key. If you write like a robot, we provide growth solutions via multi-channel platforms. No one wants to keep reading. But if you write like a real person, I saw your site looks great, but with a chatbot, it might work even better. Clients feel closer. Tone determines atmosphere. Atmosphere affects response rate. Don't turn messages into technical manuals. Turn them into genuine invitations for conversation. The difference lies in the details. When you include the client's name, mention their industry, or refer to something specific from their website, you instantly stand out. People will think, wow, this person really paid attention to me. That's a strong psychological effect. You don't need to sell in the first message. You just need to show you're not like the rest. And the crowd you stand out from is the hundreds of spam messages they receive daily. Personalization makes you the exception worth noticing. When you build a system of messages that are modular and flexible, you can send 100 to 200 a day without running out of ideas or losing quality. Spend the initial time preparing strong templates by niche, scenario, and common replies. Then, all you need is to tweak keywords, change names, and hit send. You'll not only communicate more effectively, you'll also save time to focus on what matters most, making calls, closing deals, and nurturing those who replied. Part 10. Strategic mass messaging. Systematic, non-spammy, and warm. Mass messaging doesn't mean messaging randomly. It's a process that must be designed like a real campaign. The goal isn't to send as much as possible, but to send to the right person, at the right time, with the right message. You don't need thousands of replies. You just need a small group that's genuinely interested. And the only way to achieve that is by building a structured mass messaging strategy. Segment clients, personalize messages, schedule precisely, and track every follow-up round scientifically, not emotionally. The first step is to segment your client list by industry, location, and business size. Group businesses from the same sector together so you can create tailored messaging for each group. For example, write 1 message sequence for clinics, another for hair salons. This increases response rates because you're speaking their language. Don't write 1 message and send it to everyone. Think like a doctor. No single prescription works for all patients. After grouping, you need a sending schedule. Don't send everything in one day. Break it into 100 to 200 messages per day, consistently. This gives you time to track responses, tweak messages if needed, and avoids overwhelming yourself when handling replies. Pacing also helps you maintain steady energy, not burning out from overload. SMMA isn't a sprint. It's a marathon. Those who persist and manage their resources win the long race. Managing message data is critical. Use a spreadsheet to track who was messaged, who responded, who needs a follow-up. Create columns like name, industry, sent status, replied or not, call skilled, called yet. Don't keep everything in your head. The more systemized you are, the more control you have. You don't need an expensive CRM. A well-maintained Google Sheet, updated daily, keeps you professional, prevents missed opportunities, and helps you assess your performance week by week. One vital aspect of mass messaging is keeping a personal tone, even at scale. Every message must sound like it was written just for that person. This is the art of writing within a system without sounding robotic. When you master this, you can send 100 messages and make 20 people feel like they were prioritized. That noticed feeling drives responses. In a sea of cold, lifeless messages, sincerity makes you stand out. A properly executed mass messaging strategy won't get you labeled as spam. It makes you appear thoughtful, organized, and trustworthy. Because you're not bothering, you're inviting. You're not demanding, you're offering. And you're not blasting, you're selecting. Each round of messaging is a chance to improve. Every response is a lesson. You don't need high-tech tools. You just need the mindset of a real communicator. Know your audience, craft a clear message, pace appropriately, and serve genuinely. Part 11, DEALFINDER, the AI tool that filters high-paying clients who need services now. In SMMA, speed determines advantage, and if you want to move faster than your competitors, you need a tool that tells you exactly who needs what, instead of guessing manually. DEALFINDER is that solution. This is AI-powered software that scans thousands of businesses by region, industry, and online behavior. It not only gives you names, numbers, and emails, it tells you who's advertising, who isn't, who has a budget, and who's actively seeking services. That's actionable data, not guesswork. DEALFINDER's biggest strength is the clients not yet doing marketing feature. Instead of guessing which businesses need help, the software immediately checks if they're running ads on Facebook, Google, or TikTok. If they're not doing anything, you know you have an opportunity. This is the cold but ready to warm list. You don't have to educate them from scratch. You just say, I noticed you're not leveraging ads yet. I can help with that. A message based on real data, not vague assumptions. Another excellent feature. The tool scores each lead by their readiness to pay, called lead score. This means you know who might pay $500 and who might go up to $2,000 plus. That way, you don't waste time on low-budget clients. You target those who match your value. This lets you pitch more confidently, price higher, and avoid the trap of discounting just to close a deal. You serve the right client at the right tier and get paid accordingly. A must-use function in DEALFINDER is the Deals in Needs section. It lists businesses that are actively looking for marketing help, meaning they already know their need and just lack the right partner. This cuts your process from 10 steps to 3. You don't need to convince them they need you. You just prove you're the most trustworthy option. When you message someone who's searching for you, conversion becomes skill, not luck. DEALFINDER doesn't stop at finding leads. It helps you act. Click any client and you'll see their website, email, phone, social media, and even a Contact Now button. You can start an email campaign or deploy 3 to 4 DMs right away. This turns raw data into real action. You're no longer swimming in lists. You're interacting, following up, and getting closer to that call, that deal. The opportunity is already in your hands. Industry and geography filters are also incredibly powerful. You can view all spa businesses in one city, or only those that have never run Facebook ads. This lets you go from a market overview to focused action in seconds. You can plan your entire week in 15 minutes. Who to message today, who to follow up tomorrow, who to call next week. SMMA doesn't have to be complex. You just need the right tool and steady execution. With a powerful tool like DEALFINDER, you no longer rely on inspiration or luck. You work with data and a system. Every client you contact is a verified lead. Every message is a controlled campaign. And the best part? You save dozens of hours weekly. You use that time to meet real clients, close real deals, and build real relationships. The tool doesn't do the marketing for you, but it helps you focus on what matters most, producing real results. Part 12, turning AI data into personalized openers for effective conversations. Having AI-generated data is a huge advantage, but if you don't know how to turn it into personalized content, it's just a dry list. Data only becomes valuable when it turns into the right words, said to the right person at the right time. If you know a business isn't running Facebook ads, don't just make a note. Turn it into an opener. I noticed your business isn't using Facebook ads yet, even though your industry is seeing a sharp rise in search volume. One small observation written well can open a big conversation. Personalization doesn't need to be lengthy. You only need to point out one specific detail. They haven't run ads, haven't optimized their website, don't have a fan page, or their content is repetitive. A line like, "Your website loads a bit slowly on mobile. Have you noticed that?" shows you care and makes you sound truly knowledgeable. AI data lets you spot weaknesses that even the business owner might miss, and the first person to highlight a problem is often the one who earns the most trust. If you see a business has no presence on TikTok, you can open with, "A lot of competitors in your field are now using TikTok to attract younger customers. Have you ever tried it?" You're not lecturing, not acting superior, not being pushy. You're just asking a question based on real information. That makes the client feel you're not spam, but a friendly voice raising a helpful point. When they sense that your insights are real and you understand the industry, they'll listen. And once they listen, you have your chance. AI data also helps you prioritize. If the software shows a business has a large potential budget but isn't running ads, you can go in with a stronger pitch. I'm currently helping a few businesses at your scale launch their first campaigns, and we're seeing great results in the first week. That statement carries weight because it's backed by facts. You don't need to shout slogans. Just state what you see, using language clients understand and respect. If you see a business with a working fan page but low engagement, say, "Your page is posting regularly, but it seems like comments aren't reflecting the content quality. I have a few quick ways to improve that." This way, you raise the issue without criticizing. You spot an area to improve, and you invite them to explore it with you. That's not selling, that's opening the path for collaboration. And how you open the path determines how fast clients walk down it. When you use data the right way, you'll always have something to say, something to highlight, something to connect over. The key is, don't let data sit unused in an Excel file. Turn each line into a question, a suggestion, or a starting point. And once you build the habit of personalizing from real insights, you'll never worry about having nothing to write or sending boring messages again. Data is not information. Data is raw material. And you, the smart SMMA marketer, are the one who turns it into action. Part 13, the 4-message sequence to convert cold leads into paying clients. Most potential clients won't respond to your first message. It's not because they don't care. It's because they don't see enough reason to reply yet. That's totally normal. But if you know how to build a strategic message sequence with the right timing and tone, you can turn a stranger into someone who asks to book a call. The 4-message sequence is your tool. It's not about selling right away. It's about building trust, sparking curiosity, and creating the space for conversation to happen. The first message is a gentle knock. The only goal is to grab attention and open dialogue. Don't pitch, don't include links, don't over-introduce. Just one observation and one open-ended question. For example, "I noticed your fan page looks great, but there don't seem to be many ads running. Have you ever tried them before?" This question doesn't pressure or sell. It's simply an honest comment and a sincere question, making the reader feel like you're different from the typical sales crowd. If there's no reply after 2-3 days, send the second message. This time, stay polite, but add a light reminder. "I'm not sure if my previous message came through, so just following up. Totally understand if you're busy." This message is like a tap on the shoulder, no pressure. It shows you're genuinely reaching out, not spamming. When clients see that you're persistent but respectful, they tend to pay attention. They see you as someone considerate. And kindness has strong persuasive power. The third message is where you start adding concrete value. You can mention results you've gotten for a similar business. "I recently ran a campaign for a company in your industry and helped generate nearly 100 leads in 10 days. If you're open to trying something similar, I'd be happy to share." This message provides proof. Not bragging, just holding up a mirror. When clients see someone like them succeeded, they're more likely to open up. If there's still no response after 7-10 days, send the fourth message. A soft goodbye. "I understand the timing may not be right, so I won't follow up further. If If you ever need help with marketing, I'm always available. This isn't the end. It's a classy exit that keeps the door open. Many clients return weeks or months later, not because your pitch was flashy, but because they remember how gracefully you stepped away. Nobody likes being chased, but everyone remembers someone who exits respectfully. Each message in this 4-step sequence serves a unique purpose. The first invites, the second reminds, the third delivers value. The fourth exits strategically. Done right, this creates a psychological journey where the client doesn't feel pushed, they feel they're choosing. And when they choose you. This isn't a trick, it's understanding people, emotions, and behavior. When you know your client well enough, you don't need to sell. You just spark and they walk in. This message sequence works on any channel, DM, email, iMessage. What matters is how you manage the rhythm. Don't send messages too close together. Don't turn it into a collection chase. Give each message breathing space so the client can think. You're planting seeds, not harvesting in a rush. If you send this sequence to 1,000 people, you'll get hundreds of replies and dozens of chances to close. Not because you're a sales wizard, but because you communicate right. And in SMMA, the most valuable skill is communicating right. Part 14, Smart Follow-Up. From silence to contracts, handling feedback and rejection. Follow-up is not about being a nuisance. It is the art of reapproaching at the right time, with the right tone, and for the right reason. Most customers don't respond immediately, not because they aren't interested, but because they are busy, hesitant, or haven't seen a strong enough reason to reply. When you follow up correctly, you not only have a chance to revive what seemed like a dead conversation, but also show professionalism, persistence, and trustworthiness. And sometimes, just one well-timed follow-up can close a big deal. Effective follow-up requires strategy and reasonable spacing. Don't send messages too close together. Leave enough time for the client to think and handle their tasks. A simple principle: initial message, then 2 days, then follow-up 1, then 4 days, then follow-up 2, then 1 week, then final follow-up. Each follow-up should bring something new. For example, I just updated results from a campaign in our industry, and they're quite impressive. Would you like to take a look? When every follow-up brings real value, you're no longer seen as a bother. The difference lies in how you handle silence. Don't send messages like, "I sent you a message but haven't seen your reply." Turn each follow-up into a gentle touch point. "I wonder if you're currently considering anything. I can offer more details if needed." That message shows care, not pressure. Silence doesn't mean rejection. Sometimes it just means not the right time yet. And when you show up at the next right time, the client will remember, this person is still there and ready to help. When faced with rejection, don't respond emotionally. Respond with understanding. Thank you for your response. If your team ever needs support in the future, I'm always available. A message like that helps maintain a good image and leaves a positive impression. Many clients don't work with you immediately, but return months later, not because your pitch was good, but because you walked away the right way. In a market full of pushy sellers, politeness helps you stand out and be appreciated. A highly effective follow-up tip is to bring social proof. We just helped a similar business double their bookings after 2 weeks of ads. I believe your team could apply a similar strategy. When customers see real results from people like them, they can better imagine their own outcomes. You don't need flashy sales talk. You just need to tell a true story. And a true story is always more persuasive than any polished pitch. Valuable follow-up is follow-up that knows how to tell a story. Successful follow-up doesn't come from how many messages you send, but from the quality of each one. See every follow-up as a chance to build your image, a subtle touch that helps clients remember you longer. You don't need 20 messages. Just 4 well-timed ones can be more effective than someone trying to close the deal all at once. Communication is a psychological game. The one who is patient, keeps a respectful distance, and delivers value in every message is the one who earns long-term trust. Part 15. Core SMMA Mindset. Simple, consistent, right people. In a world where everything is overcomplicated, simplicity is the strongest competitive edge. SMMA doesn't require you to be a tech genius, have a fancy office, or possess 10 years of experience. It only asks you to do 3 things right. Reach the right people, send the right message, and do it consistently every day. Those who overcomplicate often fall into the trap of preparing endlessly without starting. Meanwhile, those who understand the essence take action immediately, and results always belong to those who act. Doing SMMA is not about waiting for inspiration. It's repetitive work, but don't confuse repetition with boredom. Every time you send a message is a chance to create real value. Every follow-up brings you closer to a deal. Every call is an opportunity to understand your client better. Successful people aren't the smartest, they are the most consistent. They send 100 messages a day without skipping. They learn from every response. And it's that consistency that makes them stand out in a market full of quitters. The right people mindset is just as important. Don't try to sell to everyone. Not everyone is willing to pay. Not everyone understands the value of marketing. Your job is not to convince the wrong audience. Your job is to filter out who's ready and focus all your energy on them. Targeting the right people saves time, preserves your energy, and keeps your emotions positive. Instead of pushing customers, choose the right ones to open a conversation at the right time. Consistency only becomes powerful when paired with flexibility. If one script isn't working, adjust it. If a customer group doesn't respond, try a different one. But don't stop. Don't get confused. Keep going, with a system and with improvements. The right mindset in SMMA isn't about going big or looking perfect. It's about doing one simple thing every day without stopping midway. The winner isn't the fastest runner, but the one who keeps going the longest without leaving the path. Simplicity is also how you maintain clarity in both speech and action. Don't try to write fancy messages. Write the way you speak. Don't create overly complex offers. Make proposals easy to understand and respond to. Don't turn yourself into an unapproachable expert. Let customers see you as a regular person who gets results. Simplicity builds approachability. Approachability builds connection, and connection is the root of every contract. You don't need to complicate. You just need to be clear, honest, and timely. While many people ask, what's the best tool? Those who understand the game ask, am I being consistent? Tools are just support. Work habits are your true long-term assets. Send 100 messages a day, and in 1 month you've reached 3,000 people. Even with just a 3% reply rate, that's nearly 100 potential clients. The problem has never been a lack of opportunity. The question is, do you step out every day to create those opportunities? And that is under your control, not anyone else's. Success in SMMA doesn't come from surprise hits. It comes from consistent action. You don't need to do everything, just do a few things the right way every day. There's no secret here, just one truth. The winner is the one who persists, who works quietly, who doesn't need to show off, because their results speak for themselves. You absolutely can do it. You don't need to wait until you're perfect. You don't need a magical tool. You just need to start and keep your rhythm steady, real, and leader-like. You don't need elite closing skills. You don't need to make 100 calls a day, and you definitely don't need to beg for every contract. You just need to understand people, how they want to be approached, listened to, and respected. But here's the question you need to answer for yourself. Will you choose to be loud like the crowd, or quietly do the right thing and let results speak for you? Not everyone agrees with this soft approach. Some will say you need to pressure to sell. But if a customer only buys because they were pushed, they'll leave for the same reason. So, who do you choose to become? The quick closer, or the one who is remembered forever? Do it right, be consistent, and the results will speak for themselves. Thank you for watching the whole video. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.